Well, hello, good morning, and it's your old mate Dave Spencer back with you once again, and we're at GAYDON for the Classic Truck Show. Yes, another year has gone by so quickly. What are we going to see here today? Well, of course, we shall see what we shall see. The sun's not going to be with us for long, so we're not going to be worrying too much about shadows as the morning goes on, because I think the clouds are going to come over. It's only just down this neck of the woods that the sunshine up our way. Up north, it's looking grim, cold and windy, and it's certainly windy and not particularly warm here. Anyway, I won't go on too much, so let's get started. We'll perhaps have a chat as we go, or catch up at the end. You're very welcome to join us, and I'll speak to you later. Bye for now. The sky's already starting to cloud over, so my predictions look like coming true. Anyway, we'll enjoy ourselves, whatever the weather's like. I've got the brolly inside the new camera bag. Yes, I got my new Billingham camera bag. Regular viewers will know that I got robbed of all my kit over in Belgium a few weeks back, a couple of weeks back now. But I've just about renewed everything, right down to the back. Got a slightly bigger Billingham bag now. There's always some very tasty material on view at GAYDON. I've noticed people always gather to have a chat, usually in front of something that you want to take a few shots of. I think already the sun shadows is an academic point. I passed a couple of wagons on their way here on Friday, and I passed a couple today. But, I might not have seen them all on their way, but they're certainly all here. Nice to see some of the smaller vehicles, the smaller commercials, the vans. The new arrivals are getting sent over to the other half. That's why I usually leave that half until a little bit later on. I might as well start with the row behind me, because that's full up, so they're not going to get any more squeezed in there. And as I say, the shadow's not a problem. There's a fleet that's usually here in great number, and is yet again. So I've got to try and remember where I was up to. So I'll work my way along the road. It's going to take us near the breakfast bars. They're in full swing. I can hear or smell the bacon sizzling away.
And it was rough. Oh yeah, it's a good one. Yeah.
These are all squeezed in quite a bit, but not to worry, we'll get them all. The sun's sort of just hanging on by a thread now. There's banks of black clouds coming over, although there is some blue sky on a bit. We shall find out what it's going to do in a bit, won't we? It's annoying when there's cars driving around on site. A nuisance.
You know, because I'm taking...
Oh, here we go now.
No. I'm taking them up to Volvo, and they rang me and said, can you email this Andy some details of when they've got, you know, the year and quality.
You'd think there'd be a pavement just here, would you? Little kids in prams and things, and they still walk on the roadway. Well, Vulcans aren't two a penny, are they? What a cracker that is. Now, so far today, that's the one that I'd like to take home with me. I'm not sure whether Mandy would agree if I turn up with it, but gorgeous, isn't it? Absolutely beautiful. And a bit of rarity value to go with it, eh? Another name long gone. Sort of survived with a bit of badge engineering, but when this was made it was absolutely going strong. And that gorgeous really is, isn't it? So what a pair of vehicles we've got here together. I think that's one of the Dutch brigade with the model lorries. When we've had a stand inside, we used to be near to all the Dutch. I used to buy a few of the old DVDs. Now we're putting all the still photos onto still photo DVDs, would you believe? And the DVDs in turn are all going digital. Everything from our range is now available as digital. A bit more prosaic with Volvos. On the playground. Well, they can't walk on the pavement when they're taking a dog for a walk. I've no idea.
The enemy was fighting it for ages. Yeah.
have to wait too long before that sun's gone away. It's on its way out now. Well, I think it's probably a well-known fact amongst our viewers that my favourite truck do is Kelsall, and I'm going to miss it this year because we're going to be celebrating our 50th wedding anniversary, and we'll be over in Albania. Well, you know me, I like somewhere that's a bit off the bit off the norm, and last time I was there I saw lots of old lorries come over on the ferries. When I first started doing video as opposed to stills, Atkeys were very much still to a penny out in the streets, and I actually saw one in service, yet still earning its living. I think these days, to justify their existence, keeping them, some of those lads are actually using them every day, and that is a very nice example. I rather do like them when they have a trailer on. I know it's sort of housing the living, but it looks very smart. Well, the TV programme for Channel 4, which we filmed, or we were taking part in, it was over a year ago now, and it's finally starting the series this coming week on Channel 5. I don't think we're going to be in the first programme though. I should think perhaps we'll be towards the end. I think they've got a footballer somewhere in it. Well, it's comforting that it's not just bus people who walk in front of you, and they've got one of these phones with cameras on and always carry on, and stand about 2 inches away from the vehicle to get their shot. Rather a nice fleet shot there. Rather sexy vehicles. Have you ever noticed, as soon as I stop in front of one, about 20 people emerge to try and get in the scene? I suppose next year they will be wanting the autograph. Well, I get a bit of that already, but more in the bus world. So it would be my foray into lorries, my initiation, when the documentary airs. Another car. Anyway, the bunch who's stood nattering here in front of the lorry look like they're staying here for the duration, so I don't really care. Oh dear. I don't know why people sort of bother. There's all the room they could take up. If we don't get a good shot of them early, we'll get a good shot of them going out. We used to have a TK horse box, and later this year we're going over to Bangladesh for our third trip there, and they still use quite a lot, thousands of TKs there. Well, you'd have a job getting all that one into the picture, ain't it? And the sun really just hanging in now. It's going to be gone soon, so we better not say too much. Good old Fodens and ERS, constructed just down the road from us at home. Very nice too.
Come on.
About the rarity of Vulcans, that's 2 at least. There's still a couple of old Fords like this. When we were over in Cyprus the other year filming the vehicles on the annual potato harvest in the red soil villages. Certainly a country that's gone down now. I got pulled in by the police and said tourists should stick to the beach. I think they're peeved that they've lost the Russian tourists. Yes, I know they've lost millions of them, and it's having a heck of an effect on the Cypriot economy, but then, you know, they're well in debt to the Russians. Not that often that you see a Thames trailer with a Arctic trailer on the back. I think some of them are on another planet entirely. Sort of, look at this, look at you, as though you're daft. Taking pictures with the camera, they sort of walk along with a vacant expression and they're waggling their phone in the air. Like a load of kids at a pop concert.
That'll do some tourists, everything. But what we're doing on this road, about 50 where we decide, 50, yeah. Because you're going to start pushing it and you'll still temperature starts freezing up.
These were pretty common in Malta until fairly recent times. I got quite a few shots of them there. Mind you, a lot of things hung on for a long time in Malta, even me. Well, he's got the Vulcan lined up now, and I think that's going to be much admired during the day. Very nice as a brewer's dray. And from badged up from Banbury. Stepping back a couple of generations to a Beaver. Very numerous and popular in its day. And we've seen a few of these around the world as well.
That's what I've done my drive.
Guys I do have a relationship with. I was great friends with Robin Hannay, and he started with Guys, and also back in the 1970s I was one of group who bought a Guy Arab for us from Blackburn Corporation. I think it resides in Darwin. These days I sort of went over to work in Ireland and sort of lost touch with the group, and the guy that was supposed to pay the rent on the accommodation didn't, and by the time I got back we'd lost it. Back in the time working on the gas conversion, I drove quite a lot of Bedfords, the small 3.5 sort of ton type, and nice to see them all in the fleet livery. And our friend, he really talking about loyalty, he used to support our Pops rally. We used to have a few commercials to start with, but it just ended up with this one. At least the tractor on the back. I don't think the tractor's ever come off. Trying to find out where to get parked up. Sort him out now. Sharp. Sharp right. Up a bit. Down a bit. Oops. Bang. Certainly reminds me of our days when we used to sponsor the Pops rally at the Wedgwood Centre at Barston in Staffordshire. As I said a few minutes ago, the other manufacturer near us was another part of the Foden family, which became the RF. The RIF came over whether they should continue with the steamers or going over to the new oilers, and that was all quite a long time ago in history, wasn't it? Well, enthusiasts still wax lyrical when they see a bonneted Volvo. These days bonneted Scanias, but denotes a big engine under the bonnet. I wonder if, when I started, I wonder if people really sort of like scenes up and down the roads, but actually that's what a lot of people like, even in preference to see them in action at the end, etc. Yeah, so, there we go. Each to his own. Back to the Atke, and then a few Volvos stretching on down the line with the odd Merc in the middle. Well, I don't know if it's odd, but it's not a Volvo. The sun's still trying to hang on, but it's not doing very well, and I won't be crying when it's gone. I like it one thing or the other.
Yeah, there should be 3 more on in total.
Well, that one looks like it's straight out the showroom. told you earlier on about the theft in Belgium. We lost all our kit, so it went right down to the camera bag. Chips, batteries, umbrella, of course the cameras, still, video, microphone. It just went on and on. I lost absolutely everything except for the tripod. Well, I lost it, but it was one that was infuriating me, and I bought a replacement which wasn't really much good because I'm left-handed and it didn't have a thread for the left-hand side, and so I just sort of carried on using the old one. But I had the new lighter weight tripod, went back to Wex in Manchester, who deal in professional photographic equipment, and they bought a head from the back, and it was much better. It was really super smooth and fitted a dream. Got a growler there that's just arrived, that's for sure.
Sorry.
Well, we're making our way down to the middle, and it's sort of a bit more trafficked with pedestrians, and so they're going to get a few more people in the way, but as they keep moving. Nice guy next there. Those are a bit of a monster, aren't they, really? Quite an attractive livery, red and black contrasting. Nice to see him in a nice livery. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, sir. Sorry.
Well, at least he apologised. They're so excited. Well, we just lost that shot, didn't we? Coming back to it, I just had to change the battery. I don't know what happened. New camera bag that I've got, a little bit stiff and what have you, and I put the camera in with the tripod, etc., and somehow it's flicked the window with the viewfinder, and it opened and started a shot, and it's been shooting all the 2 hours from home. So no wonder the battery didn't last long. I really haven't received all the batteries that I've ordered up as replacements. I'm expecting some more. I think they're coming from Taiwan. No, Germany, those. That's something else that came from Taiwan this week. Another bit of a monster, isn't it? Not something we often see as a breakdown. I saw a Magirus Deutsch recently on the trip over to Cyprus for the annual potato harvest, which we mentioned before. There's quite an eclectic mix of vehicles there, and in one of the builders' yards there was a Magirus Deutsch. I think you could say there was a little bit of everything out there in various stages of repair or disrepair, should we say. Next door to the Magirus Deutsch is this AEC Mammoth Major. A fine looking vehicle, and that's quite a nice pair, isn't it? Now there's lorries, and there are lorries, but if that went past your house you'd know about it, wouldn't you? Just to think that was built just down the road from our little village in Cheshire. Very nice indeed. Still a few shift slots down here for anything that fits. Mandatas are very common. I hesitate to mention Cyprus again, but I think we saw one of those a couple of years ago there, and certainly was one of the countries that you went for old British vehicles. Cyprus likewise, to a great degree, the likes of Mauritius. Islands were particularly fruitful in the latter years of the classic vehicles. Well, yet another mandata. Very, very tidy machine. And we're going to stick with Leyland's for a minute. Yes, we're getting a taster of something a little bit more prosaic than mandata. We're going to be looking at a bison. You see the occasional vehicle out and about, some of the classics, but I don't think you'd see a bison. In fact, relatively rare really, I think, these days anyway. And yet another bit of a monster. It looks like a monster, doesn't it really? But none the worse for that. Well, we've certainly got some Leyland gems for you today. And how about that for a Mercury? Lightly restored. Looks like an everyday working vehicle. Nice to see that. Don't want all of them looking like they've just come out of the old showroom. Yeah, that's a little bit of a treat, that one. Have we seen it before? You probably know better than I do. That's it. Go and have a look at what's around the back. Where's that sun come from? Cool, tiniest gap in the cloud. Where are they going to be taking a trip north again next? We're going to pick up on another Albion. And he's next to Creswell's, who we watched parking up before. I see another vehicle being inserted in the lineup. Probably means I've got a new one to catch. And I think I'm near enough back down near where I was a few minutes back. Have I done the ATQ already? Not quite sure. Anyway, won't matter. We don't mind a repeat, do we? I wonder how often they'll repeat that documentary on you then, Dave. Oh, I don't know, once a week I should think. And another one that's next to something we commented before. Yes, it's next to the second Vulcan. And that was another one that was parking up. Some useful spaces there. You never quite know how many are really going to turn up on a day. Weather forecast wasn't that brilliant, although it wasn't going to be particularly wet. Well, we come right down the scale, don't we, to an Austin 7 pickup dated from 1931. A friend of mine, my travelling companion, just had a pre-war light commercial done up, and it's done up to match his railway, Bromshouse Light Railway down in Somerset. I think it was a bit over restored for his taste, but you know, you get these vehicle restorers doing it, and they want it to be glistening just like it was when it left the showroom. Kind group of gents just moved on so we could get a shot of the Renault and his load. I don't know if he's going to discharge the wagons on the back. Perhaps not. Doesn't really look in that position as though he could. The darker clouds gathering. I have got the brolly in the camera bag though. At least if it does rain, we've got the cafe here and we can have a brew and pop and see my friend Roy, who builds kits, buses, and he's done for me quite a few Midland Red and a Seoul Birmingham Corporation. And Roy's not been so good over the last year, so he hasn't got anything for me to collect. But it doesn't stop us having a little chat, does it? I don't think if you drove that down to road today that many people would give it a second glance. Actually, it's still, its style still looks very modern, doesn't it? Well, these two commas really would get heads turning, wouldn't they? I think we've seen them here before, but there's a sort of matching pair. They look rather smart, don't they? Yep. Oh yeah, quite a lot of sort of detail differences, especially on the bodywork and certainly on the vehicles themselves. Oh, there you go. You're getting two for the price of one. And, very nice too.
When we did that golf 40, golf forward. Turn that golf up 40, scared of?
Yeah, we'll see.
Carry on walking, let's carry on walking.
That's where the religion is.
It's all rather tasty, isn't it? Another one that wouldn't turn a head unless you was an aficionado. That's a nice rig there, isn't it? Missing the Cowsall show this year means I'll miss the ERF gathering, and it sees several hundred ERS gathered in one large field. Something to behold, it truly is. If you haven't been there, you want to go. It's not far from us, it's between home for us and Chester, just on the 556. And pretty much in complete contrast, although still Volvo. And I guess these are all owned by the same people. I don't know, but I rather expect they are. You can't have enough on the RS, can you? A second dip into the pot. Well, vehicles which have got a few miles on the clock, I should imagine, in their lives as sort of intercontinental carriers. Well, I think this has probably worked a great deal further than just between Ireland and the UK. It's nice to see Irish wagons over with us. We get a few of the lighter commercials sometimes at Llandudno, and that was our last show we were at. I think we'll have a bit of a job getting a decent shot in these, but they're absolutely in their own little world, aren't they? They have no idea I'm stood here trying to take a picture. No malice in it, it's just away with the fairies, really. Well, it's all happening here.
You get a feeling, don't you, when you look at
Oh, that's the clean angle. And another from the Leyland lexicon, we've got a chieftain. This one done up in the livery of ICI Eston Grange, and that is up in the northeast. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think I sort of worked at ICI up that neck of the woods, up in Teesside, Eston Grange. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm sure there'll be lots of you let me know if I've got it messed up. Yeah, I'll try it then, wouldn't I? Yeah, messed up, yeah, that's what I said. Well, we've stepped over the other side of the showgrounds now. Just having a quick cough there. And beyond the Volvo, there lies Foden's, the RFs, perhaps. Certainly a lot of Foden's. Lovely sight. This is gorgeous as well. So they're just a biscuit. Actually, talking of biscuits, no, I'm totally joking. I don't really mean it. What I was doing is actually looking for another camera, another battery for my still camera, because I used up the first one. These are the ones I bought in the aftermath of the robbery in Belgium, and I don't think they last much longer than the ones that I had before. Anyway, you've had time to gloat on the Odins. Time to move on. Well, we've taken pictures of this one many a time. How many times have I taken a picture of this? Quite a few.
Have you?
Yeah. And a little bit of sun to light it up.
Yeah.
I fancy we see this one at Kelsall.
Still gets me about you can be first or second in minute. And they'll just go to where you want them.
But you're driving along, you don't feel like you're making sound.
No, I know.
It feels weird.
I know.
I went there.
It's so we looked at a film years ago with 40 that with a stroke engine. We didn't want it.
One morning over at Clean.
I wish you'd got there. I'll see you there.
I think I can't remember the year when this was at Pride Place down in the in front of the buildings, and it was just done up. It made quite a stir at the time. I don't think we were that used to having aggregate wagons, and gosh, they're so much of the part of the scene, aren't they? They really are. I always take pictures of, even right down to the three actual jobs. Well, one thing I know today, I'm going to run out of still camera battery space. That's just the way it's panned out this week. Really, it has been difficult with all the replacements for the stolen gear going in. It's sort of rather preoccupied what I do. Well, that's a line up to get any Foden fan drooling in the mouth. Absolutely drooling. Aren't they gorgeous? I must say the new still camera I got, the new G16, is going very well. It takes a very nice picture. I'd taken a step back last time. I was on a sort of G12. This one's really quite on its own. It's sort of facing around the other way, but none the worse for that. It's actually quite nice for a light, for a shot. That looks just the business, doesn't it? Really lovely. Wouldn't that be lovely, walking down the road and that comes thundering along towards you? Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. A trip back to my childhood, nearly. We've still got the occasional lorry arriving. I hear something thumping away in the background there. Another nice and interesting sort of lineup. And a taste of things to come from Sept. Well, before we get to the Septs, the other sort of half of the act, shall we say, is the Atkinson. Ended up as Sept Atkinsons. There's some very tasty stuff here today, isn't there? I think this is our first Thornycroft of the day. That is absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? I think that one might well find itself on the front of a DVD cover. Why not indeed? This one actually I like very much. Have I seen it before? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Cropping in hard, trying to exclude the electric vehicle charger. Is that our first carrier of the day? Possibly. Possibly. One thing when you walk in the lines is that time does go by very quickly, and you think you've only sort of spent half an hour going round and suddenly find 2 hours have disappeared. Isn't that gorgeous? Absolutely gorgeous. There's so many that are absolutely gorgeous, I know. I told you. Okay, I'll try and not say it again. But it is absolutely gorgeous. A lot of these have brought other wagons on the back. Looking quite prosaic, but actually what a classic. A few of the Yankee jobs down the end there, but do you remember in the day when they were short of space and they started excluding things like the American stuff and military stuff, etc., and then the call went out, yes, please come back because we've lost loads, and the super heavy class used to park down here, but it doesn't seem to be anything like that now. Of course, over the years we've seen plenty of Macs and Peterbilts, etc., over in South America, and there's still some to be found hither and thither in such places. If you're really trying hard, well, I don't know, Mexico's got quite a lot of old stuff. Going to be our rig of the day, and doesn't it look like it's had a hard working life, and it just looks like something that'll be there at the truck stop. Well, for this row I think I'll sort of do both sides at the same time. Now we haven't really got to worry about the light. I did tell you that we've gone completely the sun, it has now. It's really a bit easier for photography, even if you don't gleam quite so much in the light. I don't know if I've ever been to the Classic Day later in the year. I think it's in September. I think it's clashed with trips, but certainly be worth coming here for that.
We knew it sold. We knew it sold before we had to go up to Andy, John Phillips, we said, well, yeah, we bought a band together. And he said, yeah, he said, and the album was 15. We did.
Into vehicles that I've filmed and taken pictures of dozens and dozens of times over the years. very interesting dodge there. Is that our first dodge of the day? Probably not, but good, whatever. Well, it's quite a bite to the wind at the moment. Very persistent breeze, and it's so far we've had a freezing cold spring, and the start of summer is just carried on the same. The only things really of note are how much it's rained and how much the wind's blown. And the television waffle on about things like global warming. There's no trace of that. Not in our part of Britain anyway. Well, we're getting through some of the lesser known marks, and not that Thornycroft would have been lesser known in its time.
LORRIES.
Very popular lorry, and there were some big boys as well amongst what it made. And this is a little bulldog, probably describes it very well. It's a bit of a show bus type of arrangement, isn't it? Look at the sort of more modern vehicles alongside their ancestors. Quite a nice line up there.
No, we never had a problem with that.
The electric window switch was always at the top of the front, or is that?
Simon took us all over Europe. He had 4 over the years.
The road train looks rather nice. Quite popular finishing them off as drays, isn't it?
Oh, my sticker's on the run. Too bad.